So there's a couple of options with the front end. Where are we? Yes, options for the front end is to put forks or front end off another bike, which would probably work, but when I've looked I couldn't find anything, and they're very expensive when I have found something. So I'm going to try a different solution to that. Another option I've seen is where you put the DR650 inners with the DL lowers. Now the problem with that is the DR inners are very long and you have to slide them through the top clamp, and you have to use the dampening rod out of the DR, which again is a bit too long and has a different thread in the bottom. So you need an adapter on that. So my plan is to extend my dampening rods that are in it. It has been done before. You can get up to 40 millimeters. If you go too long, you're relying on bushes to keep this in line. If those bushes are too close together, it will bind. So you need that overlap. So an advantage of doing the DR with the DL lowers, you can use the same brakes, same speedo, everything like that. Speedo is not an issue for me anymore. My speedo runs off a little sensor there and a magnet somewhere there. I have a magnet glued onto my disc which passes past this little sensor. Oops, what's that? So it's always a good idea to loosen everything off you can before you lift the front end of your bike up. Otherwise everything's wobbly and it's quite hard to loosen off things. Where did you come from, that one? So my plan is to try this option first, see how it goes. Maybe down the future I'll replace it with a different front end altogether. But this one's going to cost me nothing, so we'll try it first. Where these things keep coming from. Okay, so there is the possibility my brake lines are going to be too short after I've done this too. I may have to get longer ones. Oh. Okay, so that's it for this side. Okay, so I've done that, I've got to do that. So just back that off a little bit. Now, there's my 10 mils. Okay, so I don't want to loosen that one off yet because the bike will just drop. I do want to loosen this one off though. Loosen that. And we can loosen that off. So I also need to loosen off my, oh that is loose, don't worry, loosen off my headlight brackets. Did they come loose or did I forget to tighten them? Guessing I forgot to tighten them. Get this one off. Knew I was missing something. So no weight 164, 204. So the method I've seen before for extending these is the person cut it in the middle, put in a 40mm section and welded it on, machined it down again. So I'm going to do it slightly different. I don't like the idea of having any welds, let alone two. It's going to be hard to keep it all straight. So I've actually made up a new end piece. I'm going to cut it, put my new end piece on, weld it. I've made that end piece oversize, so once I've welded it on I can machine it down so I know it's all true then. I would have liked to have made the whole thing, but I just don't have the equipment to do it. So currently that is 220mm. About 216mm. It's a bit hard to see. There we go. Alright, I'll pull the other one out. Okay, so we're ready to start putting the forks back together. Now I mentioned I extended these by 40mm. Now the reason I came up with 40mm because I'd read someone had done it before, and I also did the maths and worked out that's quite safe to do. These fork tubes, you're relying on the bushes there and the one in the top of here to keep these in line. So if you were to extend the dampening rod too much, you would allow the tube to come up too far and you wouldn't have much overlap, and this can kink around and bind up. So you've got to have enough overlap to keep these in line. Hope that made sense. Anyway, so I cut off the bracket from here, give it a coat of paint while I was at it. Looks like new again. These fork tubes in surprisingly good condition considering the age and the riding I do. I do a lot of off-road riding. With the high guard, they're exposed a lot more. So I have a little bit of pitting here. It all feels nice and smooth though. I think last time I rebuilt these, I hit it with some very fine emery. So they're in good condition. Now I have got myself some genuine fork bushes this time. I've had a lot of trouble with Allballs gear on this bike. The Allballs bushes, the coating's just wearing off. They're all frayed, they don't fit well. I've had trouble with Allballs fork seals. I went through a couple of sets of those. They're very hard to fit. They leaked quickly. They bound up the front end. I put in SKF seals and they've been brilliant. I believe the genuine fork seals are good too. I'm going to go with the genuine bushes. It's amazing how quick all this stuff adds up though. They're about $25 each. So all of a sudden you need 2 sets of each. So I'm up to $100 there. But it was needed. Rightio. Let's get all this back together again. Hopefully it works. Oh, that feels so much better. Oh, that actually did up. $645. Okay, so the inner tube is 645 millimeters long. So that means I still have 165 millimeters overlapping. So that's plenty. That's how much overlap I've got between the bushes. Rightio. New bushes in. That's my little seal pusher. On that one. Rightio, I am going to reuse my old seals. I have had these in and out before and they sealed up fine. These are really good seals. Yeah, those seals go in so much easier than the Allballs ones. Oh, so much better. Oh yeah, forks are back in. Now let's see how this wheel goes in. So I've also made up a speedo eliminator. Because I have the Acewell speedo on there, I no longer need a speedo on there. So I jacked that front up just enough so the wheel would roll straight out. And now we're going to have to jack her up, aren't we? Quite a bit. About 40 millimetres, I'm guessing. Oops, put my speedo eliminator in. Oh, that's why the handlebars are turned. No. Bugger. Rightio. Well, I did expect that. Well, that's a bugger because I was really looking forward to riding that. Righto, we'll let her down, see how she looks. Feels good. Let's get a measurement. Where do I measure to? The bottom of that bolt? No, I'm bloody all sorts here. I think I measured to the bottom of that bolt, so we're just over 1100. A couple of inches higher. Well, we're nearly there. Front end is raised, rear end is raised. And obviously if you extend your forks, you need longer brake lines. So I'm gonna have to get some longer brake lines.